He's 250 yards away, screaming. Every instinct in you says to answer him. So you bugle back, and then he bugles back. So you bugle again. He stops answering, and 10 minutes later, he's gone. You have no idea what happened. And that's not a calling problem, that's a sequencing problem. You called when you should have been moving. Most hunters treat a bugling bull as a trigger to start calling. And it isn't. It's a trigger to start a specific sequence, and a call isn't the first step in that sequence. It isn't even close to the first step. Hunters who understand that are going to fill tags. Hunters who don't spend the season wondering why calling doesn't work. Now, I've spent 34 years hunting and guiding western big game across high alpine basins, canyon systems, and dark timber country, and I've watched this exact scenario play out more times than I can count. A screaming bull, a hunter who answers immediately, and a sequence that falls apart before the distance is ever closed. And 30 years as a professional strength conditioning and nutrition coach, working with athletes at every level, including years competing as an elite athlete myself. All of this experience has taught me the decision tree that actually works to close distance on a bugling bull, and this episode is going to give you the exact decision tree for every elk encounter. What to do first, what comes next, and how the calling decision actually gets made once you've done everything else. Now, every elk encounter, regardless of how it starts, runs through the same first 4 steps. A bull that bugles on his own, a bull that responds to your cow call, a bull that answers a location bugle. It doesn't matter. The first 4 steps are identical every time, and none of them involve calling. Step 1 is read him. Determine his distance, his location in the terrain, and your wind before you take a single step. Is he stationary or moving? What terrain is he in? Timber, basin, ridgeline, canyon bottom? Is the wind in your favor for the approach you would need to make? This read takes seconds, right? But it determines everything that comes after it, so you can't skip it under the pressure of the moment and the fear of missing out. Step number 2 is silence. No callback. This is the step most hunters refuse to follow because it feels wrong. He bugled. Every instinct in you says answer him. Don't. The moment you call back, you've told him exactly where you are and invited him to stand and wait for you to come in or just hang out, right? He's not coming to you if there's distance there. That's not the encounter you want. You want to be moving while he's still trying to figure out where that last sound came from, or while he's distracted with cows or just doing his thing. Silence after the initial contact is not passive. It's the most aggressive move you can make. Step number 3 is close distance. You move towards him using the covered route with clean wind, with controlled speed, and the terrain read that you did in step 1 is going to tell you which line that you need to take. Maybe it's the creek bottom or the timber finger or the backside of the ridge. It's usually not a straight line. It's the covered line, right? You move until you've closed inside 80 to 120 yards. We're going to call that the 80 to 120 yard bubble. That's the distance. Closer, probably going to mess things up a little bit. You risk getting busted, right? But if the terrain allows it, we're getting into that as close to that 80-yard range as you can, right? That's inside the bubble. If you're not inside the bubble, you're not in position to call. You're still in the approach. Step number 4 is stop and assess. You're inside 80 to 120 yards now. Now you have the information you need to make the calling decision. But before you make sound, you need to answer one question. Does this bull have cows? And that question determines everything about how you work him from here. And the answer changes your approach. If a bull bugled on his own and you've closed to 80 yards, look and listen hard before you call. Can you hear cows in the area? Is he herding, rounding up, responding to cow sounds nearby? Is he chuckling? A bull managing a herd of cows is operating under a completely different pressure than a bull who's alone. Herd bull's job is to keep his cows together. A satellite bull's job is to find cows. That difference tells you exactly which call you need to make. No cows? We're going to probably use a cow call. A solo bull is looking for cows. You didn't respond to him. He bugled on his own and you've determined he doesn't have cows. So give him one. A soft mew, right? Or series of mews inside that 80-yard window is exactly what he's searching for, and you're the answer to his problem. He doesn't need to be challenged. He doesn't need to be attracted. Cow calls are going to pull that solo bull bull because they offer him what he wants. Don't bugle at the solo bull. Don't compete with him. Draw him in. Hey, if you hunt public land elk and you're tired of grinding through random seasons, I built the elk hunting series of ebooks for you. Most hunters don't struggle because they lack effort. They struggle because they lack a system. And that's exactly why I built the elk hunting ebook series as a complete progressive framework for Western elk hunters who are done guessing and ready to hunt with intention. Volume 1 is going to be Foundations and Reality. I reset your mindset and expose the assumptions that quietly wreck seasons. In Volume 2, Finding Elk and Understanding Pressure, you'll learn how elk actually move under pressure so you can anticipate instead of react. In Volume 3, Terrain, Wind, and Position, I break down how to use landscape and thermals to consistently create opportunities. In Volume 4, Calling, Silence, and Pressure, sound becomes a decision tool, not an impulse. In Volume 5, Bow Hunting Execution, we're talking about close range strategy so you can finish your encounters. And in Volume 6, Late Season and Post-Rut, we're talking about how elk shift after the rut and how to adapt when others quit. This is a system built for consistency. This isn't theory. It's a structured system to help you find elk, read country, and make confident decisions every season. Buy each volume individually or bundle them all to save 50% off at backboneunlimited.com. Cows are present. You've determined that they're there, either because he was chuckling or you actually laid eyes on the cows or you heard them. Now we're going to bugle because we're inside that 80 to 120 yard bubble. We actually stand a chance of getting him to respond and leave those cows. A herd bull with cows responds to a different kind of pressure, right? He's not looking for more cows. He's protecting the ones he has. Why would you cow call? A bugle from inside 80 yards is a threat to his breeding rights. And that threat is what's going to move him. So we challenge him. We make him come address the bull that's inside his perimeter. The cow call that works on a solo bull is not going to do anything to that herd bull who already has everything he wants. The bugle forces his hand. Now, the second scenario runs a little bit differently because maybe you initiated it. You used a cow call to locate a bull and he responded. But the first 4 steps are identical. We're going to determine where he is, how far away he is. We're going to shut up. We're going to close distance and get inside that 80 to 120 yard bubble. But once we're inside that bubble, we're going to stay on the cow calls because that's what he responded to. You started the conversation as a cow. You need to stay in that lane. He responded to a cow. He's coming to find a cow. Continue to give him what he committed to finding and let him close the remaining distance. Switching to a bugle mid-encounter after you've been cow calling creates confusion. It's not natural. He was looking for a cow and now suddenly there's a competing bull. Maybe he doesn't want that. That inconsistency is going to stop the momentum, so stay with what started the encounter. The third scenario starts with a location bugle. You sent a bugle into a drainage to find out if a bull is there, and he answered. Same 4 steps. Determine where he is, how far away he is. You've got to shut up. You got to close the distance and get inside that 80 to 120 yard bubble. Now the question is cows, right? Is he chuckling? Have you seen the cows? Have you heard the cows? And if he has cows, the tool that moves him is the challenge calls and the raking, right? You're inside that 80 to 120 yard bubble. You've got a real chance at breaking him loose. You came in as a bull. You've already declared yourself. A bugle from inside 80 yards combined with raking puts another bull in his bedroom, threatening his cows right now. That's a threat he can't ignore. So it escalates. We challenge him. We rake. We cut him off. We make him come in and deal with it. Now, what you'll notice across all 3 scenarios is that the decision to call, what call, how aggressive, doesn't get made until you're inside the bubble, the 80 to 120 yard bubble, and you've assessed the situation. The call is the last decision, not your first. Everything before it is about closing distance without burning the encounter. Get that sequence wrong, and the calling isn't going to save it. Get the sequence right, and the calling almost always finishes it. Now, a word on what happens when he goes quiet after you've closed and set up. A bull that stops bugling during your approach isn't necessarily gone, right? Oftentimes, he's coming. He committed and switched modes, nose and eyes instead of sound. So we're listening for him. We're listening for branches moving or footfalls, right? Tripping on rocks, antlers dragging through the timber. If those sounds are getting closer, we don't call. We let him work. Let him come on in. Maybe one soft cow call if you were already using cow calls, right? To give him something to walk towards, but never overcalling, never giving him more information than we need to give him. If he's coming, just let him come. Get quiet, let him make the mistake, right? His answer or his silence is going to tell you what you need to know. Now, for those of you who are still paying attention, you haven't let ego get in the way, you don't know everything that you need to know, because I sure don't. I'm constantly learning. This sequence is going to help you. And for now, if you treat it like it's always the same, this is going to cut down your learning curve tremendously. The sequence is always the same. Determine his distance and location. Shut up. Close the gap. Get inside the bubble, 80 to 120 yards. Assess whether he has cows or doesn't have cows, right? Then call, and call with the right call based on what the situation actually is, not what your instincts told you to do 300 yards ago. That sequence is what the encounter requires. Build the habit of running it before anything else, and what used to end in a bull walking away from you is going to end at 30 yards. Now, if this episode made you realize you need a better elk plan this season, don't just watch another video and hope it all comes together. Build your plan right now. If you want to study the full system, my system, on your own, start with my elk hunting series of ebooks. If you want daily guidance, accountability, and a place to ask questions as season gets closer, join me on Team Backbone. If you want my eyes on your actual hunt plan, your maps, access, terrain, pressure points, wind, thermals, your strategy, book an elk hunt plan audit with me and I'll help you tighten it up before season. If the missing piece is your body, your legs, your lungs, or your ability to handle mountain miles and a heavy pack, check out my Backbone Unlimited training plans. It's never too late or too early to get started. And if your nutrition is where you need more structure, getting leaner, fueling long days, or building a better in-season food plan, check out my nutrition plans. The hunters who are ready in September and October are the ones who start tightening their plan right now. So go to backboneunlimited.com, choose the path that fits where you are, and I'll help you get started. Thanks for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll see you in the comments. You know I read and respond to all of them. Until next time, train harder, hunt smarter, and never settle.